All right, coming back to pod number 4. Sorry about the interruption. I literally just lost track of the thought that I was on from Bill Simmons, but he recently pointed out essentially that the NBA has an oversupply issue where there are too many regular season games. There are too many games on too many days for a real fan even to watch them consistently, and therefore there's simply an issue with respect to the NBA as far as just there's too much of it as opposed to the NFL where there's much less of it. It's one time a week. You know when it's going to be. It's not usually that irregular of scheduling the games and blah, 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 blah. So you know kind of what day your team is playing on, and it's just a more convenient setup than the NBA has, or MLB, which is even worse. But certainly when you talk about the NBA, you can talk about the issue of their regular season games being worthless because there's too many of them. 82 is too many for one to mean a lot, whereas 1 out of 16 or 17 is much more significant. And therefore, NBA regular season games, they're going to struggle to attract attention to these over time. And then you see issues with, for example, regular season ratings seem like they're down right now. I'm not even going to verify that or go through statistics because I don't care. But if the valuation of the league is going up and they're not getting more attention, then what's the deal? How are they going to get their media rights in the future? And I think that the primary issue, again, too many games is obvious. It's not my idea, but that's something that you can theoretically solve through collective bargaining. You just have to be willing to bite certain bullets for that. That's just the reality of that situation financially. So then, we look at the NBA Cup, for instance, to get back to that, and we can say, Adam Silver or somebody in his circle came to him with this idea. They've clearly gone with it, and in my opinion, it sucks. I hate it. It's such a waste of time, and I wish I could include some audio. I may at the end, audio from Nick Maraldo from Pat McAfee's show, talking on Hammer Dahn, hosted by Tone Diggs and Bubba Gumpino, talking about gambling, and he basically railed against the idea that these NBA Cup games are worse than meaningless because they don't count for regular season, although I guess they do with the championship. It's a mess. It just makes no sense. And again, this is one of the, not to say philosophical, that's the wrong use of that word, but it's just an ideological difference of opinion to be like, let's have an in-season tournament. Let's play these silly games on these weird-looking courts because, no offense, stupid people will like that shit. Stupid people will watch more often. We're going to get ratings. But at the end of the day, not to be rude, but who the hell cares, about the court? I want to watch basketball. I don't give a shit about in-season tournaments. I'm a fan of the Boston Celtics. I care about one thing for them fundamentally. That's that they win championship number 18. If they don't win championship number 18, it's not a failure of a season, but something didn't go as right as it could have. And I'll just use this as evidence. The LA Lakers won this silly NBA Cup thing last year. And you know how many people remember that? Not many. You know why? Because they didn't win the NBA championship and they didn't come close. The Celtics did. Celtics won the NBA championship, and that's what matters. So when you talk about the NBA Cup, it's a scheme. It's literally a scheme, and then in the negative sense of that word, it's a marketing scheme. It's a paper tiger. It's worthless. It's stupid. It's vapid. It's European soccer in the United States. Fuck off. I don't like it. Nobody should like it. Extra money for players and coaches. Good for them. Fuck off. I don't care about that. I want to see good sports happen, not worthless stuff. And then again, so I will include the audio from Nick Maraldo at the back of this podcast to get his sort of take on it because it's a good one, but my goodness, what a mess. And so the thing that kind of prompted this on that made me want to do this pod was yesterday at 3:31 p.m. I got an email. Emails from Max, HBO Max, BR Sports on Max. Fuck off with Max, your HBO, get back to it. Nevertheless, the email is about an Atlanta Hawks versus Milwaukee Bucks NBA Cup Emirates game. Okay? I don't know. And it says, glory is in their sights, find out who will secure their spot in the Emirates NBA Cup's finals when the Hawks face the Bucks. Pre-game coverage begins December 14th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch live button. So, streamline games with us, BR Sports add-on for a limited time, blah, blah, blah. So this is kind of an advertisement for the game, a game that there's no chance I'm watching because I'm not a consistent enough NBA fan that I care to watch the Bucks, the Hawks, or almost anyone that's not the Boston Celtics. No offense, I'm not that big of a fan because if I was rich enough to have, pay for my own cable and have the cable and to be able to watch every Celtics game and then to watch other NBA games like teams like Oklahoma City, who I went to see in person against the Celtics last year, or the New York Knicks with Julius Randle, who I went to see against them in person, or I also forget who else I saw the Celtics play. Who cares? But I got to see, I saw them against the Pelicans, so I got to see Zion Williamson play in person. So there are certain things in the NBA that are worth watching, but the fucking Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks in the, semifinals of a worthless in-season soccer-style tournament, I don't give a shit. And so when you talk about who's going to make it to the championship, who gives a shit? And then not only who gives a shit, but who's watching this bullshit? Like, are ratings really up? Did this really work? And if not, again, who the hell cares? It's in Vegas. Cool. I'd love to be in Vegas to go watch the game. I'm sure it'd be entertaining. But this is so stupid as far as trying to address the issue in the NBA that their ratings are down. What does that mean? Does that mean their media deals need to go down or their valuations need to go down? Not necessarily. That's crazy talk. That's not business, but it's part of the puzzle. It's part of the equation. And so there's conversations that are going to be happening that are probably happening right now about the NBA, already have been happening, about the MLB, basically are going to happen for any professional sports league outside of the NFL and whatever the hell the NCAA football becomes. Good for you for basketball at the NCAA level, but you're a dwarf compared to NCAA football. NCAA football is the number 2 sport in the United States behind the NFL. So when you look at that in perspective, the NFL looks like it's riding strong, no matter how many teams sell 10% of their franchise to Tom Brady at a discounted rate, seemingly because he won Super Bowls for another team. Again, bad business being done, but the good times will keep rolling because of their ratings situation, and they don't have an oversupply issue, at least not right now, of games, content, etc. When you look at the NBA, clearly they do. Clearly, like baseball does, I'd love to see baseball go to a 120 some game format where we draw the schedule down closer to where basketball is right now, and each game means slightly more, and still get a longer season and a campaign, but not so friggin' long. And that's an obvious issue with baseball that could be resolved and improved immediately, but let's be honest, it won't be for the same reason with basketball. They want every gate possible, no matter how the individual ratings for games go down. They want to charge the money for the entrance, the food and drink, the other silly shit that people buy there, etc. So, again, to turn back to the NBA Cup though. So I didn't watch this game. Unsuccessful advertisement by Max here because I didn't watch And I wouldn't watch because, again, I don't care about the Hawks. I don't care about the Bucks. I don't care about basketball that much. I'm a casual fan of the Celtics in the sense that I don't watch every Celtics game and really never have because they've always been on cable and I didn't have access to that when I was a kid. So I learned about the Celtics by reading about them in the fucking newspaper. So as far as watching them on TV is concerned, that's always been optional to me because what's important is following along with what they do, not necessarily seeing every game. So I've gone to, I think, like 5 Celtics games in the past 2-3 years, including 2023 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5, I believe I was at home. Awesome game. Still have the bandana banner from that shit, but, and they didn't win that series, but still legendary. But again, I don't care about the NBA that much. This is another thing where you're gonna hear me talking about a story and eventually realize he doesn't even care. But it's like, I don't care, but it got my attention. So just like certain situations like foreign affairs, economics, etc., I may not understand as deeply, I may not be as tapped in as I am to other things, but if it comes across my desk and I like it, I'm gonna snap, I'm gonna go for that thing and make it of it what I can. And so this is an example of that where I wanted to talk through some of the different angles of this NBA Cup thing. And again, to talk about it from the perspective of, hey guys, received an email. This is an advertisement. Let's go through the advertisement, and just looking at that and being like, fuck off with your advertisement. I don't like what you're advertising. The NBA Cup is shenanigans. It's stupid. It's this, it's that. Like, get out of here with that. If you want to come talk to me about the NBA, tell me about the NBA regular season. Tell me about the playoffs. Tell me about who's positioning themselves for the play. Speculate about the MVP. I don't give a shit. But don't give me this bullshit and expect me to watch, because I'm not watching. I don't know who's watching. And realistically, it's Mickey Mouse. It's not, it can't be good business in my opinion, but even if it is, it's bad business. And then, it's almost shameful, because what it does is it makes the NBA look desperate for attention. And I wouldn't have thought they were desperate for attention, but maybe they were and are. That this though is a bad sign again, because it's a marketing sign that you're desperate for this sort of attention and cannot get it for your regular season games alone, which is true. But again, guys not playing games, being load management and stuff is definitely impacting this, and it just makes it less likely that you're going to watch an NBA game. Because again, I went to see Celtics play the Pelicans last year, and the main reason I went to see that is not even just because I'm a Celtics fan, is because I picked out 3 games throughout the year. I picked out a Knicks game, honestly, just to go see Kristaps Porzingis as soon as I could, and he balled out in that game. And then I saw them play OKC without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and got to see Chet Holmgren and a couple other people on OKC. Celtics won that game, but OKC is definitely a good team, and with Shai there, they're a monster. And then seeing them against the Pelicans, wanted to see Zion, because Zion's an athletic marvel, and you want to watch him play basketball. And I will say, as being one of apparently the few people who's ever seen Zion Williamson play NBA basketball in person, it was a good watch. He's on the other team, but you almost root for him to make layups against your damn team, because even though he wasn't really dunking and didn't look quite as athletic, he's big and strong. He knows what he's doing. He's a good NBA player, and just like Ty Schmidt and all the boys on Pat McAfee's show, I want to see Zion Williamson play basketball almost as much as almost anybody. Although again, I'm not the biggest NBA fan, not the biggest New Orleans Pelicans fan. Watch that team move somewhere else someday and change their name from the Pelicans. But that notwithstanding, watching Zion is entertaining. But if he plays 7 games in 3 years or whatever, the silliness of the situation, it's an exaggeration, but it makes it seem like, and Zion is one of those people. social media wise, he's all over the place, or at least he was when he was in high school and college. Ever since he's in the NBA, that initial game he played where he hit those threes, that was a good watch. He had, I think, a good rookie year, maybe like 1-2 total good seasons after that. But here's a comparison to be made between this and my first podcast. Zion Williamson's not Juan Soto, not even close. But comparing across sports, obviously, but Soto's greater than him. Soto's better at baseball than Zion is at basketball. Soto is a better investment as far as paying him money to be on your team, be your best player than Zion Williamson. Juan Soto has won a championship. Zion Williamson hasn't at the NBA level. So at a certain level, it's like, can you prove that you're the guy by actually playing the games? Everybody's seen you play enough games that they gave you the money, but do you really deserve all the money when you didn't play all the games? Now, obviously you deserve all the money, period. But when you don't play all the games, I think it looks horrendous, looks bad. And it's the sort of thing that will make people not want to watch the NBA, is when the best players don't play. So again, NBA Cup, take it to Europe, get it out. I don't want to hear about it, America first, get this shit out of our country. Like, no more European style ideas about how to play basketball or any sport within season tournaments and this, that, and the other. And I apologize for making a Donald Trump joke because I am not a fan, but seriously, get these bad ideas out, period. They're bad ideas. They're not good. They're marketing schemes. They're stupid. And just like all advertising in general, it's made by idiots for idiots, and it's numbing and dumbing every time you watch it. And so get any of this sort of shit out of my face. Like, can't have it, won't have it, won't watch it. So that's it. Thank you.
Mavericks, and I think that they jump at the opportunity at home.
This is the pesky boogeyman. But just to clarify, these games mean absolutely nothing.
No, they do.
They're just regular season.
No,
these do not count towards your regular season record
for the
anymore.
NBA Cup. Oh, okay, so they mean even less.
So,
No,
well, it depends.
So they invented a meaningless trophy to hand out.
Nick, the player. This is why the players care. So
Cash.
When you get the quarterfinal, game,
before we get too far, they do count towards the regular season record.
Thank you. That's
yeah.
odd.
I thought they did as well.
These games do?
Yeah.
I thought that was
Because the other team,
I don't know why
make them up later.
Every single one.
Do you schedule that in?
How
Every
does
single one.
our NBA guru not know that?
Look, now we've got Nick
okay.
questioning.
Every single one except for the championship.
Yeah.
The championship doesn't? Well,
So it's even more meaningless.
that's an interesting place to draw the line.
I thought this was technically